Right, back for another one. Good, Piggy's on. I can talk to someone. Hey, Piggy.
What is happening?
How's the vlog life going?
Don't know. There's a referee today. That was a super referee.
Aye. I saw him on Twitter,
Cliftonville
like, it's very
2015.
funny.
Cliftonville 2015's won the Port Stewart Cup today, so they were very good.
The only trophy we're winning this season.
Oh, them boys seem to win all their trophies. Kieran O'Connor's wins an absolute smasher, so he was fucking brilliant.
Aye.
Barry Johnson down watching as well. I think he's a kid playing at that level, and Jody Tolan, he lives down our way. He's down at it and all. So there's quite a few Irish League faces about. Wee Jamie Bryson was down as well.
Fuck off.
Seriously, I think he must have somebody who plays for I think Ards Academy.
I think Jamie Bryson is a Clifton Ultra. I see him assaulted all the time.
Well, Kieran O'Connor, he was saying this, fucking don't know where I want to bump into Bryce or not because I did a prank phone call for one of the teams he was involved with a few years ago. Apparently he phoned like the Premier League and all, says like Green Island or someone should be put into the top flight and all this here stuff. Apparently it was on YouTube or somewhere. So
Andy Mitchell, welcome to the space. We're just trying to find where's the other co-hosts. Well, not all those other speakers, right? One will be in 2 minutes. Where's Josh? Oh, there he is. I'm just blind.
Owen,
Aye.
can we start off tonight going through intermediate and championship results? And
I was
then,
going to do that at the end, like, but if you want to do it now, we'll do it now.
well,
Sure.
if you do it now while people are still tuning in, sure.
Fair enough. When
You
no
know,
one's listening.
it means it's done and we're not neglecting it like Niff will do.
Right, lads.
Hey, Carson.
Yes, that's the only reason I wanted this.
Hey, Josh, you can speak now.
Hello.
Hello, Josh. Right, so Carson, just run us through the championship.
Do I really have to?
We'll do Institute last.
Oh my god. Well,
Or just go through the results and talk to us about who's the early season favourites, and then talk to us about what's happening at Stewart.
Ballymallard could be 2-1 by Dundela.
Ronan Hill, welcome to the space. What a guy.
Ballyclare beat Knockbreda 3-2. Obviously, Welders beat Stewart 5-0. Loughgall beat Durgview 1-0. Anna beat Newington 4-1. And last but certainly not least, Warren Point beat Ards 2-1.
Carson,
the
I have
1
a
point
question.
finally won a game.
Sorry.
Yes.
Carson, I have a question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
What's gone wrong at Durgview? Have they just lost too many players?
I think it's definitely been a case of that. I think especially because sort of where they are in the country as well, you know, out the very east of the country, or west of the country, sorry. Just sort of a lot of other players would have a lot to get with to like the Donegal leagues, and I think was chatting to a boy there that they'd get more money to play in like the Donegal like senior league.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like championship, unless you're like coming down from the championship, unless you're one of the Belfast teams, you get a lot of money.
I didn't know you got paid for being in the Donegal Senior League.
No, you get paid. You get paid a fair bit, and then I know there's a couple of players as well because they're like coming from Donegal would play Gaelic a while last. Because we had a few players that stood leave because they come out of the Gaelic.
Carson, who's looking good in the championship? Who's looking good to come up to the top flight next season?
I think it's between Loughgall and Anna. I think Anna were close last season. You know, lost in the playoffs to Portadown.
What about Newington? They coming up?
I feel like the thing is when Newton, they're a bit like, when Leeds came up from the Premier League for the first time.
Aye, nice one, Mantle.
And it was like they were like scoring goals, conceding goals. Like I think the first game of the season they beat Dergview 4-5-1. They lost 4-1 there, and then drew us 3-3. So I think they'll score enough goals to stay up, but I feel like they won't. They'll concede too many to like do any like push the top teams. I feel like Loughgall and Anna certainly have better defenses, but Anna were like that last season. Anna last season they were either winning games 5-0, 5-1, or they were losing 5-0, 5-1. It was ridiculous. I think at the end of the season, they had something like their goal difference was like, I think it was like -12 because they lost that game against Loughgall last game of the season. They lost that like 12-1 because they had a playoff with Portadown on Tuesday and basically just played like their wins. But before that, they had like 60 goals scored and like 50 odd conceded. It was remarkable, like.
Right, Carson, get on to the real thing now. Then,
do I have to talk about it?
The Welders won their first game of the season.
They did.
What happened? Were they good?
I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. That's the worst thing. I said these of the week at the start of the week. I was saying about how they sacked their manager Gary Smith, so they'll probably get a result against us. And me saying that, I thought, of course, obviously, I want to shoot the one, and I thought they were going to win, but I thought if the Welders were going to win, it would be very scrappy, and it would be like a 2-1, or a 1-0. It'll be very, very scrappy and contentious, but we were hopeless, and I'm saying that, and I do the media for the club. We were hopeless.
Doesn't sound good because you'd have brought in so many players,
and good players as well. It's the thing that like Bushy, fucking hell, he missed a couple of sitters, like. Especially, I think there was one at 1-0 where Bolga played across the box and he just missed it from about 6 yards out.
Aye. Look, I think if once they win one game, they maybe go on a run, but it sounds like their confidence is low.
No, I'd say that a lot. And like even at on Saturday, there we conceded it from a corner in the first 10 minutes, and every time we conceded a corner from then, it was like, right, we may as well just basically concede the goal here. And Welders, they're a big physical team. They're Route 1 football. They've got Kyle Owens. They've got a lot of big physical players.
Brexit ball.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just any time we conceded like a set piece, like a free kick or a corner, and the ball was getting played in the box, we just looked like we couldn't deal with it at all. We had Dylan King in defence, like.
Aye, and he was playing with Dungannon last season, wasn't he? He got injured, bad injury.
Exactly, and it was just, what can you even say? Like, just about shite. And then, of course, obviously as well, I'm a Rangers fan as well, so let's just say it was not the best weekend for me.
I'll stay away from that there because I've had a good weekend. So
no, I've had a fucking hopeless one. It was about 5 o'clock on Saturday, and I don't think I've ever seen the bus so just dead quiet in my life.
Bushy was probably happy. There have been a few boys happy.
Nah, there would have been a few boys happy. There were a couple of players were slagging me off, and I just had the headphones on. They got a jacket over my head, and I just numb.
Brutal. Well, we go on here to the Intermediate Championship or Intermediate Premier, whatever the frig they call it.
There's a couple of.
I'll run through the results here.
I go on.
Danbridge 0, PSNI 0, Bangor 3, Donaldson 0, Moyola 0, Ballymacash 3. About that. Queens 2, Lisburn 1, and Portstewart 2, Tobermore 0. Portstewart's first victory of the season.
Are we not going to talk about the Armagh Limavady debacle?
Yes, it was called off because what was it? An official was unavailable.
Exactly. And you think you Premiership fans have got the referees back?
No, and I was refereeing the day. I could have went down and done it for them.
Our referees don't turn up, for fuck's sake.
Well, here you see, with the intermediates looking interesting because I think it's going to be between Bangor and Ballymacash.
Do you think you've dropped Moyola Park out already?
I have, and the reason why is I was talking to someone on Friday night. I can't say who it was because it wouldn't be fair on them. But he says Mayola is a mess. He says literally they're just throwing money all over the show, and the people running the club aren't football people. And he reckons
I've heard that as well. I heard because obviously me being a student, like the whole in Parkov thing. Apparently they were paying him like double as much as we were going to pay him.
Well, apparently the fella who's bankrolling them was a fella who was bankrolling Portstewart for a few years, and there was a fallout, and then him and a few other ones left, and they went there, and he's starting in there. So look, the fella says to me it's not going to end well, but look, Ballymacash, they look good.
No, they do look very good.
That's all I want to say about that. And obviously Bangor have signed well, so I do think even at this stage, it's going to come between Cash and Bangor, and I think Cash are fan owned. I think fans are all buying shares into the club, which is where their money's coming from. So that's a good idea and something that other clubs should maybe look towards doing if they want to raise funds.
Exactly, like that could be like the template for amateur clubs to use.
Exactly. Say I think that's great. I'd love it if Portstewart maybe did something like that there. You know. It would be good to try and get some money into the coffers for them because their squad is so small. They had a keeper playing outfield on Saturday, so they did. They had 2 reserve players who had to come on the pitch after about 20 minutes due to injuries. Like they're at their absolute bare bones, and to beat Tobermoor 2-0 is absolutely superb for them. So anyway, yeah, that's me done with me lower league stuff. If anyone else wants to say anything about lower league.
I have a DM here that says Ballymacash rightly pump money into. Like it's quite funny. Their name is Ballymacash, and they have lots of money.
It's good to see. Like you know, they're putting the money in, and they're getting a good support, and you know, people feel like it's a sort of community club. According to the fellow I was talking to last Sunday, he's like, you know, you really feel like you're part of it.
Also, a wee bit off topic here, but I didn't get a chance to do it like before. Welcome you to the space. This is his first space. So, do you want to say hi?
All right, lads. Cheers for having me on.
Now we can get back to talking about the foot here. I just wanted to introduce him. So I love the way there's like the top 3 tiers. There's not a single West Belfast team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's kind of sad.
I think West Belfast would be stronger if the 3 big teams actually sort of came together. I know that sounds silly, but you know, the best players from the 3 teams all came together into one of the teams. Surely to God they'd get a push back up into the Niffle Pyramid again.
Mm-hmm.
They could easily, like, it's because especially like it wouldn't be that difficult, would it?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think like each club is formed for a different purpose. Like they're all formed, I think, by just a group of lads, so like a group of friends. So I'm not sure how it all works, fit them all into one.
I think the big problem with them is they're all playing in the same league. They're all playing in the Ballymena League. So like when they play each other, they're just going all out, and they probably just take points off each other all the time, and it probably affects them actually getting up. Although St James has had an opportunity last year, but Ballymacash put them to bed.
Yeah, I just got a message from Stu Will, from the man Stu Will, the man, the myth, the legend. Pretty much, he asked like which team in West Belfast the best, and as Piggy said, it's St James the Swifts doing the playoffs last season. So yeah, they'd be around the bed. Right, so is there anything else we need to talk about? Josh, do you have anything else you want to say?
Nothing about the championship now.
What's wrong with the championship, Josh?
I just know nothing about it. I'm not going to try and speak something I know nothing about.
Yeah, so I suppose that's true.
I do it every week.
That's just football for you, Piggy.
I love football. I really do.
Don't we all?
So should we just get into the Premier League then? The Premiership?
Aye. Can we start off in Lurgan?
Give me a second, Carson. Is there anything else you want to say?
Well, here actually before there's absolutely no hope in hell we're beating Glentoran. I don't, the realization of this hit. I don't know what I honestly don't know what I was thinking.
Double figures.
By half time, So, I've lost all motivation for that game now. I'm just sort of... The realisation hit me that we are shit. Oh, it was brutal. Like, especially me doing the Twitter as well. Like, I have to sort of watch. I have to be there. It was about I'd say it was about the 50th minute. The fourth goal went in. And me and this Nicky was just like, we're away into the bar. That was us, and catched up with the 3 p.m. Premier League kickoffs. And
Here, Carson, what about the facilities there at the Welders?
Top class. Top class.
What did Welders get the money for that?
Was it that funded by the council?
I don't know.
I think I was chatting to their boy there last week, and he said it was funded by the council, and apparently it was funded by the council, but the Welders are allowed to rent it out, and they keep all the fucking money.
Alright, fuck it. I'm like,
because they're paying fucking massive wages. I think their weekly wage bill is 2.9k a week.
Jesus, who's out there? Is it the UDA run them or what?
we don't talk about that. We're not talking about
that. just for the avoidance of any doubt, that was a joke, so I don't want anyone calling it.
You've just opened a can of worms saying that.
Please, UDA, we're massive fans. Don't kill us, please.
But no, here the facilities at Welders are top class. If they if they did get into the Premiership, I think a lot of Premiership fans would realise this is incredible. And I think obviously Stewart, they're in the process of building a new stadium or getting permissions to build a new stadium, and if we had something the exact same as that, we'd be well happy.
Of course, your last stadium didn't go too well.
Don't even talk about it.
Jesus, so when you're hitting, I'm sore the night.
Aye, I know. What if Stewart done to you? You took our manager as well.
Cheers for that.
Paddy McLaughlin is one of our own.
Should we actually get along to the Premier League, to the Premiership now?
Yeah. I just say we turn the show into the Championship. To be honest with
you, we might do a different Championship space one day. You never know.
Carson, we've done 17 minutes of Championship and Intermediate. That's brilliant.
Aye.
Yeah, well, I'll take that.
That's more than what Niffle give them.
That's more than the BBC ever done.
What do you call it? Even I'd say the first minute was probably more than. But now we have to listen to the next 4 hours of you talking about Corian.
No. We're going to talk about Glenavon and Carrick.
Oh, are we?
And of course, Andy Mitchell's in the space. Shout out to Big Andy. Still in the space. Good man.
Oh, here, boys. Thanks for having me on. I'll keep listening here.
Hey, no bother, sure.
All the best, boys. All the best, Vicky. All the best, Josh.
Can I start about this game?
Go on.
Right. First of all, people were messaging me saying Skinner's not brutal.
He's actually all right.
I watched the highlights of the game, and the Glenavon highlights only showed him touching the ball twice, and he scored a goal from 2 yards. So, look, I think Oisin might still be right here. But we'll see. We'll see.
To be fair, Brad Skinner's 52 or some shit, so...
He's younger than me, you think?
Exactly.
Aye. But anyway, here, the 2 goals Carrick scored were fucking unbelievable.
I think Andy Mitchell just came in the spaces to hear about his goal.
That's exactly it. 2 weeks, 2 goals. I want him to confirm whether his shot last week against Linfield was on target or whether it was an own goal, because Linfield fans keep saying it's an own goal.
Right. Andy, would you like to come on the space?
Andy has left the space. But here his goal yesterday, I think somebody says he didn't hit it cleanly. I wish I could hit the ball like that if that's not clean, because it just was sailed in the top corner, man.
Aye.
I
have a DM here from someone. He said my thoughts on Glenavon match. Carrick scored 2 good goals. Glenavon played Carrick off the park, but Mitchell kept it in the second half. Well, it wasn't
Mitchell
good enough, and the red card was the last man. What?
Mitchell wants to speak.
What is he? Oh shit! Right, well, welcome, Andy Mitchell. welcome.
Lads, I just confirmed that the goal, it wasn't a deflection.
Brilliant, Andy.
Hey,
Brilliant.
good
That's
man.
what I want to hear.
Good man.
You're
BBC,
playing really well at Carrick.
BBC, there was no deflection. That's all I seen.
You're playing really well at Carrick. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, really enjoying it. Really enjoying my time down there. Stuart's very good.
Yeah.
I think you should do all right this season, Andy. I watched you against Korean, and like I know Korean won 4-2, but you just were unlucky.
Created a lot of chances, but yeah, they dominated the game. But we probably created enough chances to maybe score. But nah, I think overall they deserved the win, to be honest.
Yeah. Andy, are Carrick going on a European run?
No, big Ronan Hill's on. He says he wants to go for a wee talk about the European run.
Ronan, mate, he called you out.
He's messaged me on the other side saying he wants to talk through the goal kick routine he scored against us. So get him on there and tell him how he done it.
If Ronan wants to request to speak, then we'll have him on. Like, also, Andy, one more thing. I just put you in my fantasy team this week and you scored, so thank you very much.
Oh, did you put me in there now?
Aye.
I know, I think it was the
I
most
saw the
transferred
lights.
in last week. I don't know if that means you're shite at the start or people are just starting to put you in now.
I think I'm the one that shade, so
I'm either shite or I'm really cheap.
probably both.
I agree. Get me in.
So, is there anything else you want to say here, Andy?
No, mate, I'm good.
Andy, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Is Skinner brutal or not?
Skinner is not brutal. He's an absolute machine. He just holds boys off with his fingers.
Good man.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Nasty on the pitch, but he's actually a good lad off it. So, like us all.
Thank you very much, Andy, for coming on.
Cheers, lads.
Brilliant, Andy.
That's space to go and play places. Hey, Josh, you're a Glenavon fan, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a tough week. Obviously, we had that debacle against Newry, which I refuse to talk about because I ran for about 10 minutes straight about it. I think the Carrick game was, well, the weather was horrendous. I think the weather completely ruined that game in terms of quality, but I think Glenavon started okay. I think we got lucky with our first goal. I do think Carrick, I do think it was a Carrick corner, which for some reason Lee Taverner decided to overrule his official, and Glenavon went up and scored directly from that. And then obviously Andy Mitchell scored his absolute worldie goal, which is fair enough. And then Glenavon from a goal kick up the pitch, we go directly in and make it 2-1, and then Robert Garrett made a really terrible choice, bringing down I think Lloyd Anderson to go down to 10 men. It's our fifth red card in the 5 league games that we've played so far in the league, which is credible. And then I think Carrick were probably unlucky not to end up going on a win in the game. I think we had a bit of slice of it. We went down to 10 men where Carrick were just kind of not getting the ball into the back of the net. So yeah, it's tough times for Glenavon, and now you've got Linfield, Cliftonville, and Glentoran coming up. So it would be typical Glenavon to lose 5-1 to Newry and just about get away with a point against Carrick, and to then go on and probably beat all 3 of these teams coming up. But yeah. I think Glenavon probably definitely got lucky against Carrick to probably get a point. If we kept 11 men on the pitch, I think we probably could have won it, because I do think we were a little bit better than Carrick, especially in the first half. I think we're starting to grow into the game as the game went on. When Carrick got sent off, we lost kind of our rhythm, and we're probably lucky Snoddy had a good chance in this towards the end of the second half, which you could have put away, but Carrick had so many good chances before that. So probably a point was just about fair. But I feel like banging my head off the wall at the moment, just watching Glenavon, during these last 2 games, just makes you want to drink and just put your life away, because it's just painful to watch. It's such an inconsistent team. How do you go from beating Corrigan to getting played off the park by Newry? Well, no disrespect to Newry, but Newry are nearly promoted, and they aren't a team that's going to start scoring goals for fun in the league this year. So, and Carrick's got a good side. Carrick's got a good side too, but we should have learned lessons from Carrick last season, which to a certain extent we did, but we're just making stupid disciplinary mistakes, and it's just frustrating. So yeah, I think we'll go into a game against Linfield and just hope that we don't lose 9-0 again.
So what do you think Glenavon's going to finish? What about?
Honestly, it's really difficult because I think Gary Hamilton made a good point that Glenavon just haven't been able to put a consistent team out yet. So if we can start getting a consistent team out, start getting a permanent back four, a permanent midfield, and a permanent attack, we could probably start. Could probably start trying to build a bit of rhythm, but we just don't have that at the moment. But we need it. Our home form just isn't good enough. I think the home performances with against Lahr and Carrick and Newry just haven't been good enough. So I honestly think this year we're probably going to finish 8th or 9th unless we really get our backsides into gear and start putting consistent performances there and stop getting stupid players sent off.
Is there anything you want to say about the game?
Not on that match. I'm going to see it myself when it comes to the Larne game because I've got a couple of things I'd like to say about it.
We're doing like one game at a time, so we might do the long game next. Actually, should we just do the long game then?
Here, just one thing. I watched the highlights there that their game this evening, seen the goals and all that. There, Garrett's red card. Like I know it was a red card, but it wasn't a usual Garrett red card. You know what I mean? He just got caught the wrong side of the player.
I think the most frustrating thing though is, in that situation, you just either let them score and keep 11 men on the pitch, or trust Roy Brown, who's in the form of his life, to save it. Garrett had to be aware of what happened with red cards in the past, and it's just a bad, moment from a guy who's extremely experienced. You just leave it up to your goalkeeper, or say, with 11 men, we've been better here, so we'll try and go and win the game. When you go down to 10 men and they score, then it's just not a benefit. It doesn't benefit you in any way. So it isn't a typical red card, but it's still a stupid decision to bring him down in that situation.
Aye. Right, Owen, going ahead, fire us up the next game.
Alright, so we'll talk about Long Crusaders then, and we'll bring you on so he can have his thoughts on.
I think Crusaders went with their normal sort of play style of playing it long, getting boys forward, playing for set pieces. Larne started the game playing their passing football, but as the game went on, it started going more long and long. I think Bonus was quite isolated up front. But it was a boring game till the changing point was Mark Randall. Now he was hit a tackle. He didn't react well to it. I think it's normal Mark Randall things. I think he's a good player, but there's something wrong with his discipline. It happened at the Larne Europe. He got sent off, costed them the game. He was sent off Friday, almost costed them that game. They were lucky to get a point out of it. But he was hit a challenge by a man. I forget who it was actually. But then, within a couple of minutes later, he gets a yellow. And within 2 minutes of him getting his first yellow, he's off the pitch and Larne's down to 10. I mean, there's something needs to be addressed with that, surely.
Here, see anyone who's played the game, and I'm not defending Randall here, but you see when somebody hits you in a dirty tackle, sometimes you want to fucking react to them. And I think Randall just had it in his head and he couldn't get it out of his head. And as you say, he was sent off in that European game and he cost Larne a place in the next round. But he just seems to have that bit that he can't forget about a tackle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree. But I think he got his tackle back. He got his hard. Sure, he's professional. He needs to understand he can't just keep diving into tackles when he's on a yellow, because he was going to get himself sent off.
I'm happy to get sent off, to be honest with you, because just
fuck him.
I to be honest with you, after what he did with Larne in Europe, I had no time for him anymore, because Larne should have won that game every day of the week, and he cost them that place. So just after watching that there, I just like, you know what? I've no time for you.
It's happened. This isn't like the first time it's happened. It's happened multiple times, but he still gets given that chance. But surely, once you see him in a yellow, the manager needs to start thinking of subbing him off. If it's time and time again, he's getting booed and sent off. Something surely, he should surely be subbed after that first yellow.
Aye, maybe they were going to sub him and didn't get time, like.
That's also true.
But anyway, look, the point's great for all the other teams, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm happy
no,
with it.
100%.
And I'm happy enough. Like, we play Crusaders this weekend, and I hate playing Crusaders, because Crusaders, if they get you to play their game, they'll
Just take
beat you. You know what I
Crusaders.
mean?
That's exactly what they were doing with Lauren.
You
And
not want
here,
to go. They're going.
we've got an Institute fan requesting to speak there, because an ex-Institute player scored on Friday night.
All right, we'll bring them on. If anyone wants to request, let the say their piece on how the team did, just make sure, just put a request in, like, and we'll try and get you on. Right, Carson, you can speak. Welcome back.
All right, boys, I'm back. No, I actually did watch the Crusaders Larn game, and it was absolutely brutal. What an awful game of football.
No, I do agree with that. I think Lauren's two teams, Crusaders aren't always the most entertaining to watch. Lauren try and play nice football.
I just
But
sort
they
of
get sucked into Crusaders.
two
style.
sort of game plans that don't work well together at all.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just sort of went against one another, because you could see Lauren were trying to implement their style, and Crusaders were trying to implement their style, and just no one style was working, and it was just fucking hoofball, hopeless. That first half was honestly shocking.
It was really, really dull from both teams.
It was like, it was the halftime was on, and I was thinking, what am I watching this for? Like, you know, and I watch championship football every week, and it was a bit bad even for me.
So we have Luke the Troll account on. Should we bring him on for the crack?
Is that Luke the Crusaders man, or the other one?
No. That is Luke the piss take one.
All right, he's good crack.
I should bring him on.
Aye, but get ready to mute him.
All right. So, Carson, is there anything else you want to say?
No, not really. Just sort of enjoying listening.
No bother. We'll bring you back on in 10 minutes. Sure. Right.
No problem. All the best, boys.
Right.
But I'm happy you changed.
Oh, fuck, he was in the middle of speaking. I feel bad now.
Yeah,
Anyway, Luke, cheer us up. What jokes you have today?
Hello.
Come on, Luke.
So, personally, I think it was a bit of a disgrace again, giving out more red cards. Like, it was very soft. There wasn't even a touch by Robbie Garrett.
Look, can I just ask you one question? Yeah. Skinner Bradley, Ballon d'Or.
I'd say so. If he keeps it up, surely he'll be in contention.
Brilliant, love it.
And then Fitzy, I told you they'd make a good partnership up front, both getting themselves a goal.
So what do you think's winning the Irish Cup, Luke?
I think if Owen Bradley can stay fit all year, Glenavon.
Glenavon aren't winning the Irish Cup then.
Yeah, he'll stay fit. Skinner.
Piggy, what's your agenda against Big Skinner?
I'm none against him. I love Skinner. I'm friendly with him.
I have to say, I feel honestly, I didn't see Skinner's first, season with Glenavon, or his first spell with Glenavon. I'm only seeing him now, but like, I don't know why. I remember in a season friendly against the Welders, and he tried to take a quick throw in, but he ended up taking a quick throw in and ended up falling down and giving a foul throw, and then give the ball right back to the Welders. I don't know why, but I just feel like that was the most Bradley thing that people always talk about, the way he just decided to give a foul throw because he fell. But like, he was okay against Carrick, but I do feel like the Carrick defence pretty much pulled and tugged and pushed him and literally just did everything. I think he was winding them up. He took his goal well, but hopefully as he gets more fit, he'll be able to do more and hopefully maybe scoring that Matthew Shevlin boy at the Korean.
Sorry, I fell asleep there. What was that?
If we don't get the snowflake refs at Mourneview Park again, that keeps sending Owen Bradley off for completely nothing, surely he'll get golden boot.
Brilliant. Look here, Owen, can we sort of move on? I want to go to bed early tonight.
So should we move on to the Korean game then, Piggy?
I'll do it quick.
Look, before that, is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say that Gary Hamilton, he still has some time in the tank, and if he can stay fit, he'll be competing with Fitzy, Owen Bradley. Like you don't know who he'll start.
If I see Gary Hamilton playing a competitive league game, I just know at that point Glenavon's given up.
He's a quality striker.
Thank you very much, Luke, for coming on. Alright, now we can actually move on.
I love Luke.
Right, so talk about the Korean game, Piggy. Does Alan have photos of Shevlin on his wall?
Right, listen, as quick as I can here. I'm not even going to talk about Korea. I'm going to talk about Dungannon. Dungannon are brutal. Dungannon are worse than Portadown. Like, honestly, they are so bad. I couldn't believe how poor they were. They were terrible.
I'm in the World Cup here because both Dungannon and Portadown had good games against us. But now I'm a wee bit like, what the fuck?
I don't know. Dungannon were so bad. Like, Keelan Marin made his debut. I was surprised because I didn't think he'd be match fit. He lasted 45 minutes, scored an own goal, and they were 4-0 down at half time. That's not very good. Nobody really stood out for Dungannon. They were just so crap, and like I was surprised. I thought it'd be a tough game, but it wasn't. It was a walk in the park. See, after it was just a walk in the park. Second half, Korean didn't even try to score. They were just sort of messing around, like they were pushing. But that's pretty much all I've got to say for it. I do think Dungannon and Portadown are going to be fighting it out for the bottom unless Dungannon fucking finds some sort of fucking form. I didn't even know what their tactics were.
I have to say, I love the way you decided to sit and stand just to listen to Dean Shields on the sideline. I seen that on your
He
vlog.
was quite subdued, so he was as well. He didn't really do anything too mental, and I was a bit disappointed in that because I was expecting to, want to go at Big Raymond. Raymond's brilliant, by the way. He is so funny.
Go on, Josh.
I was just going to ask Picky because I know Jonathan has obviously said in our group chat, but do we think Dean Shields, if he doesn't start getting results in, could be the first? Well, be gone by Christmas. I know Irish league managers don't normally get sacked. Just the league isn't known for managers losing their jobs. But do we think Dean Shields is under a bit of pressure already?
He has to be. But do you know what? Right, and I hope I'm wrong in saying this, but I got the feeling when I was down in Dungannon on Friday night that the people running the club, they don't. It didn't feel to me like they knew what direction they were going in at the senior level. They got that new pitch in, and like there was no watering of the pitch or anything. They didn't install a system to water the pitch. They didn't bring a hose out to water the pitch. And I'm like, why are you bringing in an artificial surface? And Shields wants to play this fast passing game. Like 3G's not fast when it's not wet. So I question, what did Dungannon really want to get out of it?
I do think that's a fair point because they're never a team that you see over the seasons where you see what they're trying to push for. I think they've always been comfortable, kind of just sitting, probably just above the relegation zone, but they never really push for that 7th, 5th spot. But Shields is, trying to play away, with a part-time team. He's trying to play this quick football, which takes forever to teach, and there's so much that goes into, and you just don't know if you can do that at that part-time level. Carrick, for example, Carrick, didn't try and play us off the park. Carrick kind of played to their strengths, and that's kind of what you need to do at part-time level. And you just feel like if Shields tries to play a system with Dungannon, that just does not work, for a part-time club, where Dungannon will end, because Dungannon will only shoot themselves in the foot, because Portadown are probably going to finish rock bottom of the league, but Dungannon will only make lives harder on themselves if they keep trying to play that way, because they really should not be fighting with Portadown, because their squad's 10 times better than what Portadown's are.
Yo.
Oh, Biggie, should we bring on your mate Peter here?
Aye, gone ahead, sure.
All right, Peter, welcome to the space. Kevin, we'll get you on in a minute. Peter, welcome. Hey, what's the crack?
Just on the Coleraine, the water sprinklers at Coleraine absolutely spooked me on Friday night at Glenavon. Disgrace. I want a refund because absolutely soaked me, and I went home. Absolutely needed a hot shower. So maybe that's why Dungannon don't have water sprinklers.
What were you doing on the pitch?
No, it came round, where the cameras, the BBC cameras, and it came round the whole way, and I'd say about 50 people got soaked.
Give them a wash.
I know, but on the Coleraine, I didn't go to the game, but it looked good. Matthew Shevin, I think he will get top goal scorer this season without a doubt. No offence, Andy, but I think Shevin will hit double figures, probably around the 20 mark, maybe even 30.
Well, Peter, you missed a good game. Coleraine brought a good lot of fans down, by the way, guys.
Someone said the number was it 525 or something.
I don't know what it was, but most of the fans there were Coleraine fans, and then the guys.
So there's 523 Coleraine fans now.
Not far away from that. The guys that were there and they were singing again, which was good to hear. I think they sang a song about me, but it was something to do with fuck and camera. But at least they were singing.
No fighting, Peaky.
No, I don't fight. I'm a lover, man.
No, I mean the Coleraine fans. No fighting with the Dungannon boys.
Dungannon didn't have any fans to fight with.
Just Jamie Glacken.
Glacken's a great guy. I love Glacken. Anyway, I'm not saying anything more about that game because we need to push on here, lads.
Aye, we do. Hey, Peter, is there anything else you want to say?
Big game against the Crews next week. I don't know how that'll go. It'll be tough.
Hey, thank you for coming on, Peter.
Right.
Kevin's request for a while, so we'll see what team Kevin supports. Kevin, mate, you can now speak. You're on mute, Kevin.
Hello.
So what team do you support?
Glentoran.
Do you mind if we bring it back to the Glentoran match then when we're talking about
Yes,
that?
mate, no worries.
We like to do one game at a time, like to keep structure and all that. So, aye.
Do Glentoran now.
I was going to do Clonmel now because Niles requested, but I will do Glentoran. So, Ryan, go on, Kevin.
See on Saturday or yesterday at the match, see the tackles. Do you not think the league's getting better, but the refs are bringing it down? See,
I think the refs are staying the same pretty much.
The standard's definitely getting better, but see some of the tackles yesterday was absolutely atrocious. And if that had been a Glens player, what your man Ford done twice, he took Marcus clean out and then he took the keeper out. And if that was a Glens player, they were walking.
Kevin, I think personally the problem with the referees is that I think it's been touched on. The league's getting better, the standard's getting better, it's getting quicker, it's getting faster, but the refs aren't. The refs are still, whatever training they do, staying the same. I think the refs need to be moved into a full-time model to get them fitter and make them more aware and get in better positions to see, tackles.
110%. You've nailed it. It's an absolute disgrace. And that's a few times at the Portadown game as well. There was a few nasty ones and the ref just let go. And then I remember last season, Paddy hit one and he hit the ball and he sent Paddy straight off. Didn't even hesitate against Portadown last season. But it seems to be a wee bit of a target against the Glens as well.
I've talked to your fella Mutri, I think that's his surname. He's the head of referees in Northern Ireland. And I talked to Ken Lowry, who's Stephen Phillips' dad. He's head of the sort of referees in the Northwest, or he used to be. And the two of them agreed with me. This is like they need to bring in a full-time model, and they're looking at VAR. And I'm not sure about VAR in Irish League. I'd be a
No,
wee
I
bit.
don't want that. I think VAR's. I prefer watching Irish League in the Premiership now because of the VAR. You know, it's absolutely ruined it. You know, at least you can have the odd tackle, but yesterday was like your man Ford absolutely took Marcus out, clean out, and then took a keeper out, and he should have walked, and he still stayed on the pitch. Do you know?
Kev,
Yeah.
bar the referee even crap, how are Glentoran shaping up? Because they're winning games.
They're looking well. You know, I don't really want to, build them up too much, but they're going the right way. You know, definitely a far better start. I think it's the best start since 2010. So
And
we'll just take each game at a time.
There seems to be a wee bit of strength. You know, you're able to bring on Ali Roy again, and he seems.
Yeah, he come on, and to be honest, he came on yesterday and absolutely changed the whole second half. He was brilliant. Your big man Wilson, what a signing! He's been absolutely tremendous. Like,
well, I'll put this to you, right? Sorry, Owen, I'm just taking over here because I'm good at talking.
I'm fine with it.
All right, would you start Roy against Cliftonville?
Do you know? Yeah. No, well, I don't know. I'm in two minds. I would maybe start Rory. You know,
But
because obviously,
would you maybe not go with Roy instead of Jay?
no way. Jay's work rate alone's second to none. Do you know what I mean? Jay gives you so much as well. Do you know? I know Jay didn't score yesterday, but his work rate was second to none. Like,
it's going to be a good weekend of football again, guys.
yeah, definitely. It's a hard one to call. As you know, Solitude's a hard place to go. Like, and we've had a few decisions not our way up there. Like, so it'll be a tight enough game.
So Kevin, are you confident for Friday night?
100%. I would back us against any team in that league. To be honest, we have the best. I think we have the best squad in the league.
Well, I think everyone says that on paper, like, because of all the money you spend.
Aye.
Here, Kevin, one more thing. I've seen a lot of people talking about McCartan. McCartan played very well yesterday.
Yeah, he's been super. See, the last three games, I think he started the last three games, and he's been absolutely tremendous. Like, he's really. I wasn't his biggest fan, to be honest. I thought he was very lazy, but this season he's got himself a lot fitter, and he seems a different player.
And what roles he playing in now?
Just in behind the strip and behind General, he's got a bit of a free roller. So
last season he was being played, like I seen him playing out the left against Korean, and although you can see the talent, he just looked wasted in that position. And his best position is in that sort of role behind the striker because he's that good technically.
Yeah, your wee man Singleton as well has been very good. Everyone's been very good. Just hoping the injury to Marcus isn't too bad, like.
Aye. Kevin, one last question. Do you think Tim McCann's been a signing of the summer?
Brilliant. He's been absolutely, it's him doing the vocal out the pitch, like, that's all you can hear is him, and there's anyone that knows the Glens, it's him, and he has them all fired up, and he's got the arm around them, the ones that need a wee cuddle and stuff, so he's going well.
Is he a better coach than co-commentator?
Yes, 100%.
Josh, is there anything you want to say?
No, it's just about the referees. I think one of the big issues we are having too is there's no referees that are coming through the system. I used to be a referee myself, and I used to talk to Tavinder and Davey quite a lot. And there's Keith Kennedy, as far as I know, is no longer a referee for the league. I'm not too sure exactly why, but I don't think he will be seeing Keith Kennedy again. And there's some talk about Ian McNabb going over to England. So there's a lot of they're trying to promote these officials. I think Declan Haslin, and then obviously the referee who was on Friday night there, Ben McAllister. He's a young official who did the Corey and Dungannon game. They're trying to bring officials in. So they really are struggling for officials in the league at the as we say, when someone withdrew, they weren't able to get a replacement. So, yes, we do need the referees need to get full time training, but there is a very little lack of referees coming through. And if you're going to kind of kickstart the whole referee scene for the league, you probably need to get new officials in and through the system, and there just is no one coming through at the moment. From all levels of football in this country, the referees aren't there, and if that continues to happen, then it's going to be a worrying sign for the whole of the football league in this country going forward.
Yeah. See what you said there about the referees and coming, and obviously people being picked. There's some referees who can go out there and ruin a game just like in that split second. And it gets everyone fired up. Sometimes the ref, it's all about them. Instead of just going out and enjoying it. And I know that sometimes a ref can be a thankful job, but that's what they've signed up to be too. Like,
Kevin, I spent 3 hours refereeing a kids' football tournament today. Right, first time I've ever done it in my life. And
good luck.
honest to God, now the kids were brilliant. It was, it was brilliant by all the kids. There was no dirtiness, but I couldn't see everything. I couldn't see whether it was a goal kick or a corner or whether it was a throw in. Like, it's a really hard job, and I sort of have a new gain respect for these people, and I can understand why they make so many mistakes.
I 100%. I played football and stuff, and it is. But like, you look back when we played Lauren the first game of the season, and your man Randall hit was it Bobby Burns an elbow right in front of the referee, and he just let it go. It's them things that irritate you. There's no consistency.
I just think if they had better training, if it was a full-time job, I think it would be more it would appeal to more people.
Yeah. And I think the amateur league's actually the same. They're actually struggling for referees, and obviously the fitness side as well. But obviously they know that the Irish League, they should have full-time officials.
I agree with you 100%. If there's full-time teams and full-time footballers, there should be full-time officials.
And eventually, most of the teams will be full-time.
Hopefully the league can keep growing till it gets to that sort of stage. It'd be fantastic. So it would. And it would maybe put to bed the sort of All-Ireland League if the Northern Ireland League actually got to a level where, the teams were full-time and you weren't talking about that sort of All-Ireland thing. But
100%, yeah.
I'd be happy with either if it was a full-time professional league. That's just my opinion.
So, Kevin, is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. I was just obviously to talk about the game on Saturday and the officials just.
Thank you very much for coming on, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Owen.
Hi.
Cliftonville.
I'll talk about Clonmel now because Ronan Hale's on the space. Anyway, so like again, I'm worried about Clonmel. Like we played good attacking, but we need to sharpen up at defence. Like Chris Lowe was playing centre back. Like I'm not sure what he was doing. We were like the Colin Coates and like Jamie Robinson, and Chris Lowe was playing centre back. Chris Conn right back. But yeah, like we play good. Like we managed to win games in second gear, but like we need to shaping up defensively and of course be more clinical in front of goal. Otherwise, we have no chance against Glentoran. Like with loads of shots, the attacking play was brilliant. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And another thing here, 17-year-old Sean Moore, he came on for like 30 minutes. Generally one of the best players on the pitch. This kid's the kid's very good. Like if we can nurture him right, he'll be a player. He can potentially go over to England. Right, Ronan Hale, do you want to come on the space? Have a wee speak. You do you want to go on here? Did you watch the match?
I think the most important thing is we're building the points. Although I wouldn't say we're playing the best, we're still getting the points. I think Glentoran on Friday is going to be the biggest. It's going to show us if we can push on out the second gear and challenge the teams that will be at the top of the table. as well. I think we beat Glentoran on Friday. We're in a really good position if we can play consistently well without slipping up. But it's about
that's pretty much the main thing with teams in the Irish League is consistency. Because because you're gonna have all the best players you want, but like Glentoran the past few seasons, if you don't get consistent, you won't win league titles.
No, yeah, 100%. What about Glentoran last year? They were flying till Christmas, and they just went straight downhill after Christmas.
Right, Dave Wiggins requested here, so we'll bring him on. All right, Dave. You want to meet Dave?
All right, lads and lassies.
All right.
Hey, Dave.
How we doing?
What team do you support?
Portadown.
All right. Our first Portadown fan ever.
Well, I don't know if I'm the first Portadown fan. I see Peter Cinnamon listening in there, but listen, it all got a bit one-sided with the Cliftonville chat there, so I thought I better pipe up. You know, I thought I wasn't overly impressed by Cliftonville yesterday. I think there are obviously some good players there. I think we gifted you two goals to be. Now, listen, Ronan finished his well, but I thought we were kind of asleep for the first 20 minutes. Gifted you a couple of goals, and I noted the bit of chat earlier on about Portadown finishing bottom and Dungannon and all that. I genuinely, listen, we're bottom 4, of course. I don't think we'll end up bottom of the pile, but yeah, I think in terms of the matches, obviously Portadown have already played Linfield, Glentoran, Coleraine. As far as I can see, it's going to be Linfield 1, Glentoran 2, Coleraine, Cliftonville 3 and 4 in whatever order there. So, that was me.
Dave, I listened to Doolan's post-match interview yesterday, and I was really surprised at it. He says that he thought his team played very well, and he was really full of enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? I think that's really good. I tipped him to walk, to be honest with you, because it just feels that Portadown are so weak. But he sounded like he was genuinely, sort of, what's the word? He's definitely gone all in with it. That's the way it came across to me.
Yeah, I mean, tough start to the season. However, there's progress every week. Yesterday was the first goal scored from open play this season. Jordan Jenkins, he took it well, chested it down, tidy finish. He had scored a penalty against Crusaders. Even though it's tough, week on week we're showing signs of improvement. I thought with a great second half yesterday, and the players are starting to gel and work well together. They're definitely missing a big, tall, strong front man. However, we're making the best of what we have, and I just see improvement week on week. Now, we're not the finished article or whatever, by no means, but Paul's the sort of manager stroke coach who expects a lot from his players. He's got a team together there, and it's those first 4 or 5 matches of the season almost felt a wee bit pre-season for us, of getting the boys together and getting them playing well for the first time, getting them used to the league, getting them used to each other, and I can definitely see improvement week on week. But listen, it's a long season. It's a struggle, isn't it? But it's a struggle for lots of teams as well.
Yeah. Dave, do you think Portadown will regret loaning out Adam Sally? Do you think that's a good thing?
I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest. I just think his time at Portadown had probably come to an end, and we weren't going to get much out of him this season. So it's probably a good move for everyone. Listen, Adam's a good player. When David Healy came in to Linfield, Adam Sally started for Linfield in his first match. Scores goals, did very well when we were in the championship. Adam's a good lad. So,
is there anything else you want to say here, Dave?
No, The only other thing I wanted to say was we had a few old boys from the care home in the boardroom at half time yesterday, and I was talking to one of them, and he sort of whispered, "I'm actually a Glenavon fan." And I said, "Oh, are you, boy?" And he says, "Guess what? I've even seen them win the league." So that's how old that man was.
Dave, brilliant you coming on here. Do you want to tell people what your role is in Portadown? Because I don't think Owen has a clue.
Oh no, don't worry. Not really, mate. I just came on. I love listening in, so I just wanted to pipe up. But I sort of look after the community side of things there at Shamrock Park, along with, as every club around the country, loads and loads of volunteers. But we just try and connect with the community as much as we can. Schools, youth groups, churches, organisations, old boys from the local care home, whatever it is. I think all of our football clubs, we love them, but there's other people in the community who need to get to love them as well. And I think going forward, we need to be the centre of our local communities, and I think we are. There's a lot of other things going on. I think back in the day, sometimes football was the only thing, but there's so much going on now. But our football clubs are great. You're there every week. It's the same people you see. You sing the same songs. You chat to the same people. Even when your team aren't doing particularly brilliant, it's still the place you want to go to on a Saturday afternoon, or a Friday night, or a Sunday afternoon, of course. But I think that's what the football clubs are. So, and I think lots of our clubs are doing really well, connecting with the local community, and that is to be commended, really.
Brilliant, Dave.
All right.
So thank you very much for coming on, David.
No worries. Chat soon.
Cheerio. Right, we'll move on to the Ballymena Linfield game here because we have a Ballymena fan requested. So, do you have any thoughts about the Ballymena Linfield game?
Listen, I've got a DM from a Ballymena fan. He says, "Do I think David Jeffrey might get the sack? Ballymena fans are not happy with their style of play, and some of us want a change."
Oh,
yes, that is massive. My personal opinion is that the Pigman is one of my favourite managers in the Irish League, but at the same time, I watched the highlights of Ballymena, the Ballymena highlights, and it didn't show Ballymena having a shot to about the fucking 70th minute of the game. Ballymena are struggling.
Aye, of course, like they lost the Irish Cup final last year in harsh fashion. That might have something to do with it, but
I think losing Leroy Miller's been the biggest thing, because he drove that team on. He was the main man. He was the person that they always looked to. He drove the team forward. He made them runs, the runs that like players don't make, and they don't have that now. And they just seem to have no identity on the pitch. They look at the back; they're a shambles. Linfield absolutely tortured them yesterday, from what I seen in the highlights. Joel Cooper looked like fucking brilliant, and Linfield are back, baby.
All right, Josh, is there anything you want to say?
Well, anytime Glenavon have played, Ballymena haven't impressed at all, and I do agree. I don't think Ballymena really do have a strategy or a set way of playing. They kind of just go out with 11 men on the pitch and kind of hope that some magic appears. And there's just no one in that Ballymena team right now who you would look at and say, that's a playmaker or someone who's going to score them goals. And then at the back, they've got no leaders. They've got no. They've got no one who's going to try and organise the defence. I think all over the pitch, they just look lost. They don't look like they're getting led on the pitch, or they're kind of following any set of plan. And Ballymena fans, particularly the loyal ones who do go week in, week out, have definitely been on David Jeffrey's back for a while now. Ballymena going into team who everyone was saying would probably finish 7th ahead of Glenavon, and right now Ballymena are probably performing worse than Glenavon, which is quite a difficult thing to do considering what Glenavon's form is at the moment. So
yeah.
I think for David Jeffries and Ballymena, it's he's going to have to try and figure something out quickly. But Ballymena have not been playing well now for a season and a half, maybe 2 seasons now, and it's kind of Ballymena are just extremely stale. If anything, they're going down and they're getting worse. And Ballymena fans and the board will be keeping an eye on it. But I think only recently signed a contract, low, so clearly maybe the Ballymena board are more than happy with where Ballymena are at the moment.
Do you have any thoughts before we take requests?
Nothing from me.
So we'll bring on Charlie now. Charlie, you can speak.
Hello.
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 Right. So what are your thoughts on the Ballymena Linfield game?
I seen a couple of highlights of it, and it's hard for me as a Korean fan to feel sorry for Ballymena, but they just didn't look great. they haven't looked great for at least a year now since we've been playing them. So it, like as someone who only sees them twice a season, maybe 3 times, they just don't, as your man was saying, they just don't seem to know what they're doing, and they're missing. From what I seen of the little bits of highlights I seen, was that there was no real togetherness in that midfield. They looked like they were getting ran over. So,
I got from an Linfield fan asking like he can come on if he wants, but like I can't find it now. So if you want to just come on, request you and like have your say about the game, just feel free to request, and we'll try and bring you on.
I was at the Korean Dungan game, and I think we played well. We kind of blew Dungan out the water in the first half, but I think that result kind of not papers over the cracks, but it kind of like says, look over there at the good result, and kind of we just need to keep focused on the way we want to play and play more like that more often, because we played really well, especially for one of Jamie's goals. I think it was the second one. It was a great bit of football.
So is there anything else you want to say, Charlie?
Well, you were saying the referees when I just came in. I don't know how long you're talking about it, but I was just thinking that as hard as the referee's job is, the referees get the most of the blunt of it, but I think most of the blame has to be on the linos as well, because the linos don't. I don't think the linos know how to talk to the referees, or I don't think that they're given the option to talk, or the referee doesn't want them to talk. But sometimes you look at decisions that linos make, and they're not putting their flag up, and you go, how can you see that? How can you not see that? I'm like 5 or 10 yards back, and I can see that clearly, and you're not putting your flag up. Charlie, that's the question that I'd be asking.
Charlie, you see with regards to linos, and I've seen this more and more often now, the linesmen aren't actually keeping up to play with the last man. Like, more often than not, you see if there's a quick counter-attack, they're not up on the last man. They wouldn't know whether it's offside or not, and they're literally guessing. And I think that comes down to the fitness issues again. They need to be fitter to do that role better. And I agree with you totally that it feels at times that they're not helping the referees make decisions.
Like, it's only into the second month of the season, and I've had, I think, 2 linos like not turn round to me, but like, you know, you can see their heads kind of bob because they can hear you. I'm not abusing them. I'm just saying for fuck's sake, Lino, how can you not see that?
Charlie, you know who they'll hear? They'll hear Alwyn. Alwyn McKee is here listening, and they will hear Alwyn. And he knows it.
I've been standing, like, I don't normally stand with Alwyn, but I stand maybe like fucking. It could be 5-10 rows back, and you could hear him. So I don't doubt that the Lino would hear him.
Anyway, there we go.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say, though, Charlie?
No, I'm good. Thanks for
coming on, Charlie.
Listen, Owen, we've a few
Yeah.
we've a few Blues fans here looking to talk, and this is
I
fantastic.
know.
But before they come on, a fella who I'd be friendly with, a Blues fan, he says that he doesn't come on and listen here because apparently the space is anti-blue. And I says to him, it's not anti-blue. It's just a case that the Blues fans don't come on and talk. So it's hard to, talk about the Blues if the Blues don't talk. So it's great to see that the guys have requested here.
All right. So we'll bring on Chris here. Chris, welcome to the space. Right, Chris. You on mute, mate?
Hello, can you hear me all right?
We can hear
Sorry,
you now.
it seems that when you get introduced, it automatically goes on the mute. Apologies for that.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the match?
No,
was it yesterday? I was yesterday.
My main thing is about yesterday. It's not even about Linfield. I'll get on to Linfield, but some of the comments about Ballymena. Listen, Big Davy, Big Davy's been there years. He knows all about the the Irish League and stuff. And yesterday, people talking about I think Piggy said something there that was obviously pretty much on point in the fact that when they lose a player like Leroy Miller, he's the captain of their club at that stage. I thought even though Ballymena were on the wrong side of us beating them 4-0 yesterday, Davy McDaid actually, as much as I was talking to one of their stewards, as much as we don't like him, he's threw a couple in on Jamie Mulgrew in the last couple of years when he was at Larne. But as much as we don't like him, Davy McDaid was actually pretty good, and that sounds maybe a bit silly on the back of a 4-0 hiding as it looks yesterday. At the same time, again, he's playing in a role. What it looked to me yesterday, Davy McDaid is playing in a role just in front of two boys sitting in midfield, and he's not playing up front. He's sitting playing in behind one or two boys up top for Ballymena. And realistically as well, again, to give Ballymena a wee bit of credit, we were a wounded animal. Last week really, really, really hurt us in terms of Europe and in terms of Carrick away last Sunday. We were a wounded animal, and even when we scored 2-3, we were wanting more. And you see when you've got the likes of Chris Shields and Stevie Fallon and Joel Cooper playing like that, and for us, no one's going to touch us. I heard you talking about Glentoran earlier on, and fair play to the Glen men and stuff that they seem to have played well yesterday, whatever they want to say. But if we play like that every week in the Irish League, and Chris Shields is, and I know Piggy's a big fan of him too. I'm telling you, even I think even Joel Cooper's a better player than Conor McManaman. But and again,
oh my goodness. Yes.
No bass at all. No bass.
No, there is. No, there probably is. no, there probably is. 100%. There's probably bass, but I know there's a lot of points there that I've made. But listen, that's my thoughts.
All right. I have a question here for someone, and he pretty much asked like, who do you think should be starting up top, McDaid or Devine?
McDaid. At this point, see Ethan Devine. Ethan Devine will score. He'll score goals for us this season, no problem. See, when what we're doing at the minute is, I've had a couple of mates there on Twitter in the last couple of days saying, about McDaid. Listen, the Glen men don't want him to do well. I get that. Listen, at the end of the day, we hate them. They hate us. I get that. But he is going to come good. His work rate over the European games, and when he scored yesterday, when we scored the first one, it was a wee bit of relief after what happened to us in Europe and what happened to us at Carrick. But I tell you, see, when we scored the fourth, there was a bigger reaction when we scored our fourth goal yesterday because it was McDaid getting on the score sheet. So at the minute, see what you're saying. At the minute, 100%. I love Ethan Devine, love him, and he's going to hopefully he'll be a fantastic player for Linfield in years to come. But at the minute, McDaid, 100%.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to say here, Chris?
No, I might get a bit of backlash from my comments, but no, I just think that fair play to Ballymena. I just think don't give the Ballymena fans don't give up on your team and the rest of the Irish League. Don't think that Ballymena are a pushover. I just think we were a wounded animal yesterday, and we needed to put in that performance, and they will turn a few teams over the course of the season.
Right. Thank you very much for coming on, Chris.
Thanks for having me, lads. Thank you.
Chris.
Right, we got a second Linfield fan here, which is almost unseen before. So Notorious DOUG, Notorious Doug, welcome to the space. You can now speak.
Are you there?
Oh, yes, sorry, it seemed to froze on me there.
Right, so how are you?
I'm dead on. How are you?
We're all grand here.
Well, just basically, just like what Chris said there, in all fairness, like, we were a wounded animal, and like, there's no such thing as easy game in football, like, we all know that, but I don't know, there's just some lacking with Ballymena yesterday. You never get an easy game down at Ballymena, but yesterday seemed there was only one team going to win it, and maybe a wee 5-minute spell at the start of the second half and made a couple of changes, but after that there was nothing from Ballymena.
Notorious, is it a case maybe that Big DJ doesn't actually know what his strongest team is?
It could well be. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Ballymena to say whether that's the case or not. But there was always a case with Big DJ. Like, I know he was like overly successful at Linfield, but whenever there was another team around, whenever Cliftonville came up with Boyce and Gormley, and then there was Cliftonville, DJ sort of lacks tactically at times, which is bizarre to say for someone that's won so much. But we always had the biggest budget, and there was no one. Maybe the Glens the odd year, but there was no one really remote at that stage.
So do you think David Jaffrey's a wee bit overrated then?
I wouldn't say he's overrated. No, I just, like, obviously at Linfield, we always had the best players, the best squad. I mean, like, if there's anybody doing well in the Irish League back in DJ's time at Linfield, we pretty much signed them. And then they were either sitting in the stand with the fans or they were on the bench. They weren't really getting in the team. Like, there was someone like Shay Campbell, for example, was he ever really good enough for Linfield? No, but, we signed him just because we could.
Doug, was DJ's strength maybe at Linfield that he recruited simply the best players?
Obviously. Yeah, pretty much. Spike and Thompson up front, and they're scoring like 40 goals a season, but each.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, there you go. Good performance for yesterday from Linfield, obviously.
All right, lads, I'll head off here and let our boys speak, sure.
All right, I was going to ask you a question, but if you want to go, that's grand, sure. Like, so do you want me to go? Do you want to go, or do you want me to ask you a question?
It's keep freezing on me here. Go away there.
I'll ask you this last question here. Like, so what do you think is the difference between Healy and Jeffrey?
Healy would be more tactically astute, as you can see that with the results in Europe. Obviously, RFS there, but we don't want to talk about that there. But like, you're getting wins against like Karabag and Bodo Glimt. You're not expecting Linfield to. Yes, okay. But,
we're going to have to stop you, Doug, there because it's just breaking up and we cannot hear a thing.
Yeah. You just randomly stop speaking in the middle of it, like we don't know what's wrong with it. So
we move on to our last game. I think it's our last game, is it?
I think Linfield's the last game because I was checking it while Doug was speaking, and I was like, because I thought there was one more, but I was checking. I was like, oh shit, we pretty much done them all.
Hopefully, that's good.
So we're just going to bring Stu Will on like before we go. So Doug, is there anything else you want to say?
No, lad, that's everything.
Thank you very much for coming on. Right, so we'll bring Stu Will on. Right, Stu.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Right, welcome back to the space.
Good stuff. Thanks for having me. It's interesting actually just listening to the guys. It was good to have Chris and Doug on actually from a Linfield perspective to hear their thoughts. As Piggy said, I don't think we've heard much from Linfield fans over the last few weeks, but I think it's easy enough to dismiss. Obviously, whenever the Blues lose, everyone else sort of has a bit of a smile. But that defeat to RFS must be absolutely gutting and will take quite a while to get over because how close the Linfield came to creating history, not just for themselves, but for the Irish League. So it's not as much as to be expected, that they hangover against Carrick, and then obviously, they took it out, their frustrations and their anger out on Ballymena. But it's interesting just looking at the league table and hearing a lot of the guys. We're like 4 or 5 games into the season, and I think the only teams just looking at the table that I think at this point in the season can be relatively happy nearly with every game that they've played in terms of results are probably the Glens and maybe to a degree Carrick Rangers. Because if you look at it, Coleraine, good start, but shite at home against Glavin. Cliftonville haven't looked convincing. Crusaders been okay. Linfield lost to Carrick. Larne, I don't think they've really thrown much of a punch yet this season. Dodgy enough against Glenavon and late winner there. I don't think they were battling against Cruz, but they haven't been brilliantly. Glenavon, hot and cold again. Ballymena haven't got going. Uri been flashes but haven't got going. Portadown haven't got going, and Dungannon have been wick according to certainly with Peaky there. So it's going to take another 4 or 5 matches for I think these teams to get into a swing of things, and I think then we'll see the style of football with some of the teams become a bit more established. But it is interesting now that Glens, undefeated out the first 5, best start in 12 years. They can get a victory or a point away against Cliftonville on Friday night. That's a massive statement of intent, even at this early stage from them.
We had Blair McNally on the space, and I was going to shout him out, but he just seemed to have left.
Nah, man, here Blair's a tube man. I'm way joking. I love good lad.
Yeah, I enjoyed his video at the League Cup final. Like, I'm sure you know. Piggy's just boycotting the League Cup now. So, Stu, is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to mention was it was an interesting discussion about the referees in terms of obviously their 2 things. One, the level of fitness and what the Irish FA are going to do about that, because that's a massive challenge that the Irish League is going to face over the next couple of years. What are they actually doing about the fitness? How are they going to move and transition to more of a full-time model? What other leagues around Europe are they getting advice from? Are they getting are they following a similar pattern on? I'm not even sure down south if their referees are full-time. But the second point I think Josh mentioned, which was a really interesting one, was the conveyor belt of referees coming through. And perhaps if you're offering more of a full-time path, you might get an increase in numbers and make that a bit more attractive. Because it was, I don't know if you guys mentioned at the start, but it's pretty frustrating and a bit disgraceful that the game against Armagh City, was Armagh City and Limavady or Armagh City and Loughgall? I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was Limavady, was called off because they didn't have a referee. And granted, it's the 3rd tier of the Irish League, but that shouldn't be happening. But it's how are they making it attractive for young referees coming through, one, and actually how are they going to transition to the full-time model or adapt to that too. So yeah, that's it from me.
I actually want to have my piece about this referee going full-time business. I'm wondering where they're going to get the money to pay full-time referees. Because like if you get like the Premier League referees, you pay them like 20-40 grand a year. Like, where do they get the money? Do Nuffle pay them? Do the Storming pay them? Like, not sure where they're going to get the money.
wise up, Owen. Like, we don't worry about the money. we just want
These refs
we
gonna
just
be
want it to
details.
happen.
They need to feed their families.
Details. It's fine. It's fine. It'll work itself out.
I think
Probably
the
will, like, but
referees are IFA referees, and then I'm assuming that they get their wages, through NIFL for when they do NIFL stuff. But they're IFA referees.
it's fair enough, man.
But here, look, as I said earlier, I've talked to your man Mutre or whatever he's called. I can't mind his first name, and I've talked to Ken Lowry and that, and they agree with us. We're not saying anything that they don't agree with. They know that they need, better training, the full-time models, and I say they're talking about some sort of VAR light or something. They like VAR because we like the league being natural, and it gives us something to talk about. But look, you see, if they brought in some sort of VAR that helped the refs, you couldn't really argue against it too much, because we're complaining about the refs, and then what, we're going to complain if the refs get something to help them.
I think it's a natural thing, though, Piggy. Like, any sort of major changes that are thought about in the Irish League are instantly dismissed as, we don't want that in our league, or our league's not like this. It's the same with full time, where Kenny Bruce brought in money, games on Fridays, games on Sundays, games not at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, changing the calendar. Any changes that are, typically speaking, I think that the league is, a lot of the support base is pretty traditional in what they want. And I'm not saying I'm an advocate of VAR in the slightest, but we've got to look to see how the league can improve and what improvements can be made, because, if other leagues are doing things, and granted, I think this weekend showed that VAR in England isn't, it's the implementation of it's not a great success rather than the technology itself. But I think there has to be, and your point is right, how are you going to do it is the money. That's fine. But I would like to see a plan or a pathway that if they did have the money, this is what they would do. Because I don't want the situation to turn around to be, well, we're not going to do this because they don't have the money. Well, develop a plan, make a case for more money. And that's what you should do all the time. If you make business cases, that's when you then can try to get the money. You try to leverage it. I'm sure there's packages, or there's programs that FIFA have, UEFA have, governments have. There will be ways and means to do it, but you got to have the will, and then you got to have the plan to do it. So I'd rather see those first and foremost, as opposed to someone saying, "Well, unless we have $500,000 every year, it's not going to take off." Right? Well, great. Well, what are you going to do with that money when you get it? What training are they going to have? Who's going to train them? Is it the Sports Institute up in Jordanstown? Are they going to train there? How are they going to do it? That's what I would like to see.
That's fair. I suppose that's fair enough. So, Josh, do you have anything to say about it?
Josh, fall asleep, man.
Okay. You Ed? Are you awake?
Barely.
So just before we end this BSU, do you have anything you want to say about the referees?
Who?
The referees.
Who, me?
Yes.
Should I be slamming about them for about 20 minutes?
Sorry, I was on about you, Ed, though.
I have nothing.
You have nothing?
That's not been covered.
Alright. Suppose that's
you, Red's been the best speaker you've had on, Owen.
I think it's been the quietest speaker we've had so far. I suppose there's 4 of us here.
We just wanted to talk about Clifton.
I suppose there's 4 of us here, so someone might get lost in the crowd, like, but that's enough. So, if none of you have anything else to say, I think that's where we're going to end the space. Stu, thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime, lads. Thanks very much. Enjoy your evenings.
You too, cheerio.
All right, lads.
Right, so
cheers.
If we have nothing else to say, is that it? We end it now?
That's it from me.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming on. I think our peak audience was like 72 or something. Thank you to Andy Mitchell and all, and Ronan Hill for coming on the space. Saying, lads, make sure you all tune in next week, most likely at the same time. And yeah, if you requested and we couldn't get to you, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's like, cheerio. Have a good night.